Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Dentistry Made Easy. The topic for today is stress breakers from removal partial dentures. The reason I'm taking this topic is this was asked in my university exams and it is an important topic from removal partial dentures. So the thing that I'm going to cover in this video is the complete set that what you need to write in your exams. So starting off with the topic. So one of the most common prosthetic problem is the failure of distal extension partial dentures. So what is distal extension? Distal extension is your Kennedy's class 1 and 2 where it is edentulous space is present posterior to the remaining natural teeth. So basically it's like it is tooth supported on one side and it is tissue supported on the other side. So it's like this is a distal extension case. And the reason why it get failed is because there is a difference in the compressibility because it is getting support from tissue on one side and from the abutment, that is your natural tooth, from the other side, and they have the difference in the compressibility, and because of this there is this problem which occurs, and in order to reduce this, stress breakers they are introduced in the prosthesis which will allow the base to move slightly with less strain to the abutments. So what is stress breakers? So stress breakers, they are also known as stress equalization or stress directing concept. So it is defined as it is a device which relieves the abutment teeth of all or the part of the occlusal forces. So it relieves. So now as the name says, stress breakers. So it breaks the stress. So that is, stress is nothing but the forces, your occlusal forces, it breaks it off. So it's the device which relieves the abutment teeth. So now your all of the force is on the abutment teeth. When the occlusal forces they are on the abutment teeth, so the stress breakers they help in relieving that forces. So stress breaker, and this definition is given by GPT. The other definition which was given by McCracken is it is a stress breaker is something like a hinge joint. So it is basically like a hinge joint which is placed within the denture framework. So you are placing this joint in the denture framework. It allows the two parts of the framework on the either side of the joint to move freely. So stress director, it is a device which allows the movement between the denture base and the direct retainer. So basically you are placing this stress breaker between this denture base and the direct retainer, and it allows the movement between them, and it can be intracoronal, that is within the crown, or extracoronal. So the dentures which have the stress breakers, they are also known as broken stress partial dentures or articulated prosthesis. So what are the aims? Like, why are we doing this stress breaking? So it is to direct the occlusal forces in the long axis of the abutment teeth. As we have seen, because of the compressibility difference, so all the forces, occlusal forces, is on your abutments in the case of distal extension. So it helps to direct the occlusal forces in the long axis of the abutment teeth. The next is to prevent the harmful loads being applied on the remaining natural teeth. So there's this famous statement which was given by Divan in 1952. He stated that the preservation of that which remains is of utmost importance and not the meticulous replacement of what has been lost. So basically it's like now your remaining natural tooth, they should be preserved, and you should focus more on the preservation of what is remaining rather than replacing of what has been lost. So it prevents the harmful load being applied to the remaining natural teeth. The next is to share the load as early as possible between the natural teeth and the saddle areas, that is the soft tissue areas, according to the ability of this different tissue to accept the loads. So now your soft tissues and your abutment. Abutment is your hard tissue. So they have this difference to accept the load because of the compressibility level. So it helps to share this load equally on both the sides. Then to provide greater comfort to the patient. Now it's like when the patient he bites. When the patient bites, he has more compressibility on the soft tissue and less compressibility on the abutment, and because of that the patient may feel discomfort. So it helps, stress breaking, it helps to provide greater comfort to the patient. The next is to ensure that the part of the load which is applied to the soft tissue, it is distributed evenly as possible over the whole mucosal surface. So when you're applying this load, so it should be distributed equally over the whole mucosal surface. So these are the aims of the stress breaking. So why are stress breakers used? Now basically, now first, where are the stress breaker applied? So what are the applications of the stress breakers? So first you can use the stress breakers in distal extension removal partial dentures. So where we are actually studying this. Then your FPD, that is your fixed partial dentures, where there is some problems with the abutment. So at that time also you can use stress breakers. That is FPD with tilted abutments, and it can also be used with tooth implant supported prosthesis. So these are the applications of stress breakers. So now, as we know, we are using the stress breakers, but why are we using this? So first is the soft tissues, they are more compressible than the abutment teeth. As I said, the soft tissue. Now your soft tissue. Now this is a distal extension case. So there is no teeth which is present posterior to it. So it's like you're having tooth support on one side and tissue support on the other side. So your soft tissue, they are more compressible. So when you're placing something on the soft tissue, it gets more compressed because it is soft. Yes. And in tooth tissue supported partial denture, when the occlusal load it is applied, the denture it tends to rock due to the difference in the compressibility of the abutment teeth and the soft tissue. So when the occlusal load is applied, so now you are fabricating a denture without this stress breaker. So what happens is when you are applying the occlusal force, the denture it may rock. So it is not stable because of the difference in the compressibility of the abutment teeth and the soft tissue. As these tissues they are more compressible, the amount of stress acting on the abutment is increased. So now as you know, when you're applying this occlusal force, as this soft tissue they are more compressible, so more force is applied on the abutments, and this may produce harmful effects on the abutment teeth. In order to protect the abutment teeth from such conditions, stress breakers are incorporated in a denture. So now it's like the compressibility, the movement of your mucosa, the soft tissue, it is 2.0 mm, and the periodontal ligament, that is your abutment, it is 0.25 mm. So you can see the difference between the compressibility, and because of that, it may create harmful effects on the abutment teeth. So because of this, we are using stress breakers. So stress breakers, they can be added to the junction between the tooth supported portion and the tissue supported portion of the denture. So basically it's like you are using the stress breaker between the junction of your tooth supported and the tissue supported portion. So what are the types of stress breakers? There are two types, type 1 and type 2. So type 1 is you're a movable joint. It is placed between the direct retainer and the denture base. So as I said, we are using the stress breaker between a direct retainer and the denture base. This is your denture base and this is your direct retainer. So we are placing your stress breakers in between this. And this is a movable joint. So type 1, you have to remember this is a movable joint. So this joint may be either a hinge or it can be ball and socket, or it can be sleeve and cylinder type of joint. Adding these stress breakers to the junction of direct retainer and the denture base, it allows the denture base to move independently. So when you're using these stress breakers between this junction of two, so it helps the denture base to move independently. So this decreases the amount of the force which is acting on the abutments. The combined resiliency of the periodontal ligament and the stress breaker, that is a stress director, it will be equal to the resiliency of the oral mucosa overlying the ridge. As we know, the compressibility, it was 2 mm, and the abutment, that is a periodontal ligament, it was 0.25 mm. So when you're using this stress breaker, so the combined resiliency of this stress breaker and your periodontal ligament is now equal to the resiliency of the oral mucosa. So the examples of your type 1 can be Dalbo, Crismani and ASC52 attachment. So basically this is the Dalbo. So it's like a ball and socket joint. So now you can see this is a ball and socket joint in which what you're doing is the ball, it is cantilevered on the abutment and the socket, it is attached to the prosthesis. Then the next one is your Crismani. So Crismani is this one. So Crismani, it is slightly different and it has more elaborate design. So it consists of a metal block. So it is having this metal block in two parts. So it has a metal block in two parts. It rotates around a fixed axis. This is your fixed axis and it rotates around it, and it rests on a spring that is contained within the box. So this spring, so this is a spring, it provides the axial movement, and the split back, it allows the rotation. So this is an example of your type 1. Now you don't need to write all this, it's just I'm telling you for your information. So the things that you need to write in your exams, you just have to mention about it. So you just have to write the example and the name of it, but nothing about it. And even you can draw these diagrams if you want. Then the next is your ASC 52 attachment. So this is your ASC 52 attachment. This is again a ball and socket type of joint, and it is used for a long distal extension cases. For example, if your even premolars are missing, so in that case you can use this ASC 52 attachment. So over here, the mobile portion, it has a solid attachment to the abutment, and the other portion, it is attached to the canine abutment. So over here it is a canine abutment, and this is attached to it. So this ball, it gets fixed into this other portion which is fixed on your abutment, and this helps in breaking your stress. So that is your stress breaker. So this is a type 1 stress breaker. Next is your type 2. Type 2, it has a flexible connection between the direct retainer and a denture base. So it has a flexible connection. Over there it was movable. So now this has a flexible connection. It can be a wrought wire connector. So this is your wrought wire connector, split major connector, or a movable joint between two major connectors. So about this, like in brief, I'm going to explain in major connectors. So this is a modification of major connector. The split major connector is a modification of it. So it can be a wrought wire major connector, split major connector, or you can place a movable joint between two major connectors. So basically, in a split major connector, the major connector, it is split by an incomplete cut which is parallel to the occlusal surface. So over here, as you can see it over here. So in this is a split major connector basically. So what you are doing is you are splitting it by an incomplete cut. So this is an incomplete cut which is parallel to the occlusal. So this is your occlusal surface and it is parallel to it into two units. So you can see now this is first unit and this is the second unit. So this is the upper unit and this is the lower unit. So the upper unit, it is more near to the teeth. So now as you can see, this is more near to the teeth and then the lower unit. So the denture base, it is connected to the lower unit, and the rest and the direct retainer are connected to the upper unit. So this is your lower unit. It gets connected to the denture base, and your upper unit, as you can see, it is getting connected to your direct retainer and your rest. So your upper unit, it gets connected to the rest and the direct retainer, and the lower unit, it gets connected to your denture base. So this is a wrought wire. This is a split major connector, and so again this is again a split major connector, and this one is a hidden lock partial denture. This is a hidden lock partial dentures, and this is a type 2 type of stress breaker. So you have to remember, type 2 is a flexible connection and type 1 was a movable connection, and this can be asked as an SAQ also, so you need to remember this. So what are the advantages? So the first is the alveolar support of the abutment teeth is preserved, as the stress acting on the abutment teeth, they are reduced. So basically the main purpose of your stress breakers was relieving the abutment teeth. So the first advantage of stress breaker is the abutment teeth is preserved. The stress on the residual ridge and the abutment teeth are balanced. So as we have seen, so it is balancing the stress which is applying on the stress break, which was applied on the ridge, that was the soft tissue, and on the abutment teeth, they are now balanced. Then the weak abutment teeth, they are well splinted even during the movement of the denture base. So if your abutment teeth, they are weak, so they get splintered with the help of this stress breakers. The next is the abutment teeth, they are not damaged even if relining is not done appropriately. So because of this, if there is a problem, so if you're not doing the relining procedure, even though your abutment teeth, they are not damaged, so there is minimal requirement of direct retention. So there is minimal requirement of direct retention. The second last is the movement of the denture base. It produces a massaging effect on the soft tissue. And the last advantage is this avoids the frequent need for relining and rebasing. So what are the disadvantages? First is the design is complicated and expensive. So obviously when you are incorporating something else rather than the normal thing, so it will become expensive. then the assembly is very weak and it tends to fracture easily. It distorts through rough handling. If you're not using this properly, it can get distorted, and as this assembly it is weak, it can get fractured easily. And as it is complicated, it is difficult to repair. It can be used only to counter the vertical forces. Inability to counteract the lateral stresses which is acting on the ridge, leading to ridge resorption. So now it is used only on the occlusal forces, so that are your vertical forces. When there is vertical forces, it can counteract towards it, but it has no ability to counteract the lateral stresses which are acting, and because of that it can lead to ridge resorption. So your ridge, it can get resorbed. It reduces the stability against the horizontal forces. So basically it's acting only towards the vertical forces and not towards the horizontal forces and the lateral forces. Both the vertical and the horizontal forces, they are concentrated on the ridge, leading to resorption. So now as your stress breakers, they are concentrating your vertical and the horizontal forces on the ridge, and because of that now there was like in distal extension more force is applied on the abutment. But after when you are using the stress breakers, so your forces, they are concentrated equally on the ridge, and because of that what happens is your ridge, it can get resolved. Then there is reduced indirect retention. So your indirect retention, it is reduced. The split major connector, it tends to collect foot debris at the area of split. So now as you have seen, there was this incomplete cut which was given parallel to the occlusal surface, and there was this cut, and because of that what happens is the foot, it can get accumulated over there, and inappropriate relining, it leads to excessive ridge resorption. So when there's the need of relining, but in advantages, as we have seen, we do not require that much relining, but in some cases you do need it. So when the relining, it is not done properly, so it can lead to excessive ridge resorption. So the main disadvantage is it leads to ridge resorption. So this is all about stress breakers that you need to write in your exams. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much.